The Athletic, Dennis Lin and Ken Rosenthal, and it talks about the Padres showing interest in Luis Arraez. The Padres showed interest in Arraez throughout the offseason and made a strong offer for him during spring training, according to sources briefed on the Marlins discussions. A Padres source, however, said the team was more focused on Luzardo, who represented an alternative in trade conversations to right-hander Dylan Cease, the pitcher San Diego acquired from the White Sox on March 13th. Arraez is a two-time batting champion, but how he might have fit with the Padres, a team that cut its opening day payroll by more than $80 million from 23 to 24, is an open question. So let's stop right there. The whole Luzardo thing, like, that's not happening anymore. Like, they acquired Dylan Cease. That's like, it was an alternative, as written here. Now, Arraez, the Marlins are off to a terrible start. So I could definitely see Luis Arraez traded somewhere. To the Padres, I'm not so sure. It's another guy that doesn't hit a ton of home runs. Sure, like, that's the you want to look up a Tony Gwynn in baseball nowadays. Like, Luis Arraez is probably someone that baseball fans are immediately going to point to. But yeah, the fit. I mean, are the Padres going to trade Ha-Seong Kim? And with the adjustment Bogaerts has had to make to second base, they're going to just put Bogaerts back at short, and they're going to move Cronenworth, who's worked his butt off to be the best first baseman he can. They're going to put him at second base to put Arraez at first. Or are they going to keep everyone like this, not give the Marlins any big league pieces other than like a Eggy Rosario maybe? I think the Marlins would want some, but all the infielders are up on long-term contracts. They're not going to trade Arraez and acquire Kim for 1 year when they're not going to go be a postseason team. So I'm just trying to figure out, how does this guy even fit, right? And that's what's put in this article. $10.6 million salary for Luis Arraez, DH, but Manny's DHing. So when Manny goes to third, is that when they pull the trigger on Arraez? I don't know if the Marlins would do it this early in the year, but I think those guys in the front office, I think they realize, okay, we know we're not a World Series team. If the Padres can offer the best package, let's give Luis Arraez to the Padres. But let's say, so if it would be to DH, the Padres, they have $14 million a room, according to Fangraphs, to the luxury tax threshold. So if they acquire Arraez, then that's taking up almost all of the flexibility. So what additions would they be able to even make at the deadline? What if there's injuries pitching-wise and they need pitching reinforcements? You know, it's one thing if he was a lefty power bat. But if Cronenworth's going to have a good year, and so far he's impressing, he's on a long-term deal, he's not going to get traded. Do the Padres, will they feel that need to go get Luis Arraez if they have Bogaerts? Let's say, hopefully he can play better. He's at second. Even if he doesn't, he's not going anywhere. Kim, hopefully he can, start turning things around. They have Manny at third. Cronenworth is having a good year. Do they feel like they're going to have the need? They could sign Tommy Pham and he could DH some games. What if they give Graham Pauley at-bats and he ends up performing well and he can DH? And it gives them that flexibility before the deadline to go make an addition, to make a couple big additions. Maybe not big, but I think the big addition was Dylan Cease, right? But make a couple of additions to round out a roster to go make that postseason push. So I just wonder the fit. I think out of those guys in the infield, who's most likely to be dealt, it would be Ha-Seong Kim. But to the Marlins, I just question that fit. It wouldn't be to the Marlins. It would have to be a 3-team trade, I would think, right? Or you trade him to another team for something, for pitching maybe. You acquire Arraez, and you give up, prospects to the Marlins, because what big league piece for 1 year? Like, they're not going to want a rental. The Marlins, that doesn't make sense for them to get a rental piece. So right now, I don't really see the great fit, to be honest, Luis Arraez with the Padres. And in this article, it was written as more of hey, the Padres tried in spring training. And I think that those discussions would maybe happen again before the deadline. I'm not so sure it would happen right now on April 3rd. But Preller's always on the phone, so you can never count it out, I guess.